Last time on Unbeatable.
Oh, what's your name again? You have the shoes, right? I'm Genki. I am originally from the Hoenn region.
Are you taking part in the tournament?
Yeah. I signed up as soon as I got here. I was like the 100th entrant or something like that. I'll see you guys during the tournament. I hope you guys have good battles. Notice something the others don't as they are doing their shopping. There is a flying type that you do not recognize.
I mean, it's very clearly following us.
Ava, no attacking. Follow that bird.
You can see that Ava is no longer following. She does have a major wound on her right wing. As you kind of like look through your Pokedex, you find an entry and you hit play. Noivern, the Soundwave Pokemon.
I'm going to post on my social media that I'm looking to trade for a Noivern.
You get an at from a verified trainer. Actually, I did spot one on South Island. If you're in town for the tournament, we could meet up, ? You can head to Vossco. As you guys finish checking in your things, security guard goes, Officer Delta is going to be taking you guys upstairs. And the two doors kind of slide open. You see that this elevator doesn't open into like a hallway. It opens directly into a massive office. Adalyn Voss is the person who you currently see in front of you at the desk. Welcome to the Indigo League, where trainers grow and bond with their Pokemon to become the very best and prove themselves unbeatable.
We are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold, because we are unbeatable.
Welcome to the world of Pokemon, and thank you guys so much for joining us today. Welcome to, what is this, episode 30 of Unbeatable?
We did it. We made it to 30.
Christ. We've done so few and so many of these all at the same time.
Episodes, 1 week. No.
1 week,
30
definitely.
episodes,
Yeah,
2 badges.
We're going to take down all of the other episodes and just post them all in 1 week again, just to see what happens. Anyway, to get us started with today's episode, we begin with all of you having just walked in to Adalyn Voss's office at the top of the Vossco building. She now sits typing on her laptop, glasses on, with a white coat over her shoulders, and her long red hair braided down one side. And she has just now looked up as all of you begin to enter her office. You feel this overwhelming vibe of professionality and intelligence that she gives off. Very no nonsense as you all walk in, followed by Delta 69420, the security guard who had led you up the elevator. So, with that, is anyone making the first bit of conversation? What is the general vibe? What are we doing at this moment?
She's no nonsense. I'm like 90% nonsense.
I turn around to the guard and I say, "Thanks, Big D." I clap him on the I don't do that.
You sure? We can roll some checks.
No, I don't do it. I don't want to die, okay? I feel like that guard
I think you doing that would kill him.
Man's about to Brazilian jiu-jitsu fucking drop you to the ground.
Immediately puts me in a triangle.
What was that, Burrty? I saw hand.
What's the decoration of the room like?
So this is something that I mentioned kind of at the end of last episode, but you guys could definitely use a refresher. This room itself is a large penthouse room that is also an office, in that there are multiple sections to this large open floor. In one corner, there's sort of like a lounge area with couches and drinks. In another, there is a mechanical engineering lab. In another, there's a small chemical engineering lab. There is a full bar in one section. It seems like she does both work and entertainment in this office.
Are there like knickknacks?
On her desk, I'm gonna roll for knickknacks. I'm gonna see if there's any knickknacks.
Roll for trinkets.
It is fucking barren of knickknacks. There are 0 knickknacks.
Bad vibe.
Check for paddywhacks.
Bad vibe.
Oh shit.
Bad vibe.
Also 0 paddywhacks.
Oh my god!
Export paddywhacks.
Wait.
Person has no joy in life.
There's 0 joy. This person is focusing on her career. Emotionally unavailable.
Damn. Windows?
The entire back wall is windows. It is floor to ceiling window. You can see over the entirety of South Island and North Island for the Seafoam Islands. From her office, you would, if you wanted to see things in like good detail, you'd have to like walk up to the actual like behind her desk area. But you can tell that her office on the most south side of South Island can see the entirety of Seafoam City, and the Seafoam Islands spread across her view.
Because we're on the 72nd.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm picturing the final boss room from Detective Pikachu.
That would be pretty accurate, actually.
But
I'm getting
would
villain
be-
vibes.
That would be pretty on point. I don't think the villain vibes is on point.
I'm not saying
That's a
villain
little
vibes,
too far.
but yeah.
You know.
I'm saying someone who's dedicated their life to their career vibes.
So,
Definitely. Wait till you find the Ditto bodyguard.
Guys,
That was
Ew.
what Delta was.
Delta takes off sunglasses. It's just a smiling face and two dots.
disgusting.
Creepy.
Look, she's a
Anyway,
capitalist.
I'll get us
She's a
back
bad
on
guy.
track though.
I'll tell you.
I will kind of walk up towards her desk. If is she looking towards us on her computer, or is she like?
She had kind of like glanced up at you and then had seemed to like start typing something very quickly to finish something. And as you start walking up, she kind of slowly closed the laptop shut and goes, "Hello, I believe you are my 3 visitors for the day."
That is correct. My name is Seth Wake from Cornucopia Daycare, and these are my friends that were my
Gavin Newman and Coryne Willows. Yes, they
Yes.
were also on your card.
Yes, and obviously you are Adalyn Voss. Thank you for having us. And this is a really tall building. I've never been in a building this high.
She kind of chuckles, and you see the first thing she does is she takes her hands, and for someone who has like no knickknacks, is very no nonsense. It's kind of surprising that her nails are like a little bit longer acrylics. Red on each one, except for the ring finger on each one is like a like an off purple black. And she takes it, and as she's talking to you, she just starts to kind of like clack them together as like a just sort of like a conversational tick. And as she looks at you, she goes, "I am glad that you appreciate my building. It's always a pleasure to have new trainers. Please sit." And she kind of waves you toward the large couched area where there's 2 couches sort of face to face with a glass tabletop in the middle of them.
Cool. Shuffle,
Um,
shuffle.
As you start shuffling, she starts to slowly get up from her desk. Coryne, I noticed some like glancy looks going on. What's going on in your brain right now?
I'm just looking for. Truly, I'm just wondering.
Like a trap floor button.
Yeah, like what the deal is. Because Coryne is very like aware of the guard, aware that all of their stuff was taken, is aware of like security and everything, but it's like, where's the Pokemon? Have like what? And constantly glancing over at the mechanical and chemical workstations, like
She's never caught a Pokemon.
piecing
Never caught a Pokemon
together
no once.
what those might be for, but
Okay.
it's very much like taking a back observant.
Okay. There is definitely a bit of that like kind of awkwardness as like she kind of gestures you to there. You can see that Seth definitely like starts to head over and everything. And you all just go to one of the couches and begin to sit.
Mhm.
Okay. As she kind of gets up, you can see that her white researcher's coat is over like a darker, almost like a off turquoise dark blue blouse with like a black set of like work business slacks underneath. And she walks over to the couch, and sits down, kind of like crossing the ankles, and goes, "Well, I was very excited to hear about new trainers having an interest in anything in my business when I've got my email from Silver. He mentioned you were all promising trainers?"
Yes, and promising we are. We've just actually finished meeting over at Brand's gym. We took care of we were the first to take Cinnabar for this for the season. Man,
That's
yes.
genuinely impressive. And all 3 of you fought. All 3 of you have earned the Volcano badge.
4. Right?
4?
No, isn't
No, Vermilion chose not to come with you guys today.
Oh, I scratched that from the record. 3.
Yeah, you're good.
yes.
You're good. Yeah.
Go stricken.
Vermilion was semi-uncomfortable
Ghost
going
Protocol,
and chose
got
not
it.
to go. Yeah. Ghost Protocol is a good one for that.
I'm
For
going
Vermilion.
Ghost. Sorry.
Doom.
Yeah,
It's Viridian. I mean Vermilion. I mean
you're a bitch. You're gonna fuck me up. I swear to God, don't do it. I'm just
See,
gonna start
now
saying
that I know,
Adalyn
I'm
Voss. It's gonna
powerful.
mess me up. It's gonna be like,
I love
this is Adalyn Voss is this woman's name. You're gonna mess me up.
Adalinian.
But Dr. Voss leans over and she kind of picks up what looks like a small, maybe like 6-inch by 4-inch tablet off of the edge of the table and starts to swipe through. 2 badges this early in the season for each of you. That is quite impressive. In the email, though, Silver had mentioned something about you wanting to know more about caring for Pokemon.
Yeah. Obviously, I work. I kind of like move the lab coat to the side and hold out the apron.
Yes,
to show
you're a
the
member of the
Yeah.
Cornucopia Daycare, as I've seen here.
Correct. Yeah, and obviously I've worked hard on like training my Pokemon and feeding them the right. I have your books. I have Brock's books. I work on trying to find like new recipes. I actually even brought, and I'll reach into my bag and like fiddle with my recipe items and objects and stuff and just start putting them on the table, just talking about the different steps I go through and processes and like what I've taken from her books, what I've taken from Brock's books and put them together and like what I do myself, just showing like what I know, just like info vomiting, just being like, here's all the stuff I know, and just putting that on the table.
As you start like info vomiting, she's very like impassive with her expression and is almost like very politely listening as you speak. If anyone wants to look deeper than that, you absolutely can, but that's kind of the surface. Yes, Coryne, you can absolutely roll me an empathy check.
Yes, because I am watching.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Gavin, with your own personal reasons to be suspicious of this individual, you can 100% roll me an empathy check.
Wait, why are you sus?
I don't know. Why are you sus?
Did we talk about this?
Why don't you ask me?
I don't know. You should have a conversation at some point.
Can I roll a check, not necessarily to see like what they're looking for, because I don't know.
Not to suss out,
but to see if it seems as though my information I'm giving about stuff that she's done and like the changes to it and or like what I would consider enhancements for what I'm particularly working on is anything that's impressive to her or not specifically. I don't know if that would be like a rolling with intelligence or charisma specifically.
I think that's gonna be a straight intelligence check or straight charm check, your choice.
Okay, I'd prefer intelligence. That's only a dice.
The other two of you, what was your empathy checks?
15.
15?
6.
Okay. 6.
I'm rolling a d20 for mine, Kenna.
6, you can't really read this woman. You know what I mean? 6, it's a lot of like the very passive listening, the nodding along, so at the very least she is listening to what he's saying.
Getting distracted by the nail clacking.
You are getting distracted by the nail clapping. Yeah, she's still got that going throughout the whole conversation. But Gavin, as you kind of watch her face very subtly as she's listening to Seth, but she does occasionally glance over at each of you and kind of gives you a look up and down, and every once in a while her eyes flick back to the tablet, and as Seth is talking, she does occasionally swipe, maybe type a few things. It seems like everything he's doing, she's not necessarily unimpressed by, but it's not sticking out to her. It's not something that she's like taking a moment to be very interested in at the time. It seems very much like she's doing a favor from somebody by talking to you guys, and much less concerned about you guys individually.
Rude. Hashtag rude.
And then what was your roll, Seth?
9.
9? With a 9, you definitely get the vibe that you're not doing anything wrong. She seems to approve of everything you're doing, but you definitely haven't blown her mind in terms of your breeding stuff.
Gotcha.
Which that sentence out of context is.
That's why we're going to leave it in context.
Yeah, you could have added Pokemon in front of that.
Yeah.
And that would have made it more of a normal sentence.
It was that
in the
thing where I
context of what
said
we're
it.
doing.
I said it, and then I went, that's what
You want
she
to take
said.
it back? You want to take it back?
No, this is going to live on the internet. Editor, leave it in.
Take it back now, y'all.
One of this time. But yeah, definitely she is passively listening. It's like you seem competent, definitely, in the kind of vibe she's giving you. But there's definitely not a, you are impressing me at this moment.
I don't want to just drop and be like, we also cleared out like 2 rocket bases, but I feel like that's an impressive thing to say, but I don't know if we should talk about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Talking
That's true.
To players as players.
But as you start wrapping up, your info dump, you're dropping everything. She goes, well, it seems like you definitely have a handle on what you're supposed to be doing, but what are you specifically looking for from me? I know that my company, of course, is the leading company in Pokemon care, nutrition, and balance, but you happen to apprentice for your father, who is a very renowned Pokemon breeder. What would you want to learn from my company?
I think, and I'll just be, as I'm packing all my stuff away, I think what I was looking for, if anything, was some form of a endorsement or sponsorship to show people that there's more to training than just being competitively strong. That's just one side of the training axis, or like it's one side of the Pokeball, if that makes sense. I don't know. Bad at analogies, but hopefully you can help me with that.
No,
with
that
potential.
That is an interesting perspective. She actually does seem like a small smile has cracked finally, and she does seem like that was the correct sentence to say. So you came here seeking an endorsement or sponsorship, and you seem to have a good goal on your shoulders. Well, who am I to turn down a interesting young trainer, especially all three of you? I assume you share his zeal in this subject.
Seal. Is that a Pokemon? I'm just kidding.
Coryne kind of like, just like one nod, like,
Like obviously uncomfortable kind of nod, or just like a curt, impolite on the nod? Like
Not
what are
gonna
the
say
kind of nod you're
anything
doing?
else?
just like a good eyebrows
Okay.
up and interested, and like a, oh yeah, same.
Okay.
nod.
Okay. So a Midwestern nod. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
There we
Don't
go.
you know?
Midwestern nod. I got you.
Gavin's giving the Amelia Clark, like Daenerys talking to Sansa Stark smile.
Okay. The that smile. Yeah.
You can't
We should
prove
have
this
a
isn't
bullshit
friendly.
stat. Yeah, we should have a.
We have one. It's called
bullshit
bluff.
stat. Yeah, we do have a bluff stat. Gavin, roll me bluff.
Damn.
I feel like Gavin's the other side of this Pokeball.
Yeah, the other half of the
metaphor I'm
Pokeball.
giving.
9. Wait,
9.
plus badges, 11.
Okay. Gavin is the other head of this Doduo that you're talking about. That's a good saying. We should
There's
keep
a
that.
good one. Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
one. That's a good one. Especially for Kanto. With an 11, you see that like it definitely seems like she takes your nod at face value. She's not focused on you. You haven't spoken up or done anything to impress her in this time. It has only been Seth who's really been having conversation at this moment because he immediately started info dumping.
This is Seth's been working hard on this. I don't want to steal the limelight.
Absolutely. So she looks back at Seth and goes, well, my company does have a sponsorship program, but of course there is the conflict with your father and his current lawsuit, and there is also the issue of it may have been a favor for you to come speak with me, but I don't know you trainers. You have a burgeoning reputation, yes. If anything, the Pallet Town Police Department has much to say on you, but I don't know you.
And that's very fair. That's incredibly fair, honestly. If you would be as kind as to give us the opportunity to know us, we are going to be in town for the tournament. And obviously, we're just down the road at the Pokemon Center. If there was anything we can do to help you get to know us better, that could work too. I'm not sure what would be best, but I trust your judgment as a leader in the industry.
Go ahead and roll me a charm check. Because you know what? Because Gavin succeeded on his bluff check. Because Gavin succeeded on his bluff check, you will not be doing this with a disadvantage. You will just be doing this as a straight charm check.
My charm's not good though.
Because if Gavin had failed at that, it would be different. 4.
Big
Okay.
4.
So 2 plus 2?
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps the best way to get to know someone is to speak with them. Well, you three seem to be interested in what my company does, and of course, I am happy to have new trainers come and visit. Perhaps if you're interested in pursuing some sort of Vosco sponsorship, you should apply via our online pages. You can submit your trainer report there. But I have a few hours slotted for whatever conversation was going to come up. Silver said that some of you could be quite talkative at times. I don't know. Who could it have been about?
I turn and look at them like, who's talking?
But she goes.
Compared to Silver, we are.
Compared to Silver, oh my god, yeah. But she goes, I have a few hours. Perhaps I can get a better idea of who you are as we walk and talk. How does that sound?
Sure. Yeah, we can walk and talk simultaneously. Yeah, of course. Is that cool with you guys?
Sure.
I'm so down for that.
Let's soaking this up.
Before we begin, let me reintroduce myself. I am Dr. Adalyn Voss. I am the CEO of Vossco, obviously. I am excited at the current wave of trainers that are coming, and I must say, this year you were the first 3 to approach me about a sponsorship, and that interests me. But again, I do not know any of you. So let's begin with one of you. How about...
Is she slipping into like a tour guide mode?
Why is she rolling a die?
Aaron, am rolling a die to see who she's gonna...
I thought she didn't have any knickknacks on the table.
Who she's gonna pick on first. Her eyes kind of glance over at Gavin.
Okay.
I've not heard much from you yet. Gavin Newman, yes?
Yes, that's me.
You chose to join us this year from the Sinnoh region.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. Why did you choose to come to Kanto of all places?
Well, first of all, my sister, I'm not. First of all, my sister is currently taking on the Sinnoh League Challenge, and we thought that it wasn't quite the right time for us to have that kind of sibling showdown quite yet. So that was one reason why I decided I'd try my talents in Kanto.
Maisie Newman. She seems to have quite an impressive track record already. 3 badges in less than 2 months.
Google quick.
I love that she's just an iPad kid.
She is. She's very much is. This
CEO,
entire conversation.
boss baby iPad kid.
Yeah, she's just been kind of looking through the iPad this entire time, as you guys have been talking.
Like, I'm sorry.
And
checking right now?
beyond that, there's just some
She's doing due
baggage in Sinnoh that I wanted to get started without lugging around with me.
You can see.
She's searching hard.
What is everyone's intelligence die size?
20.
Anyone who has a D8 or higher is gonna catch this.
Yes.
Everybody's got a D8 or D4, so Corinne's not gonna catch this.
Fuck you!
Not gonna catch this. Sorry.
I feel like Gavin's and Corinne's stats are inverse of one
Yeah,
another.
they're inverted.
They are.
Seth and Gavin, you're both gonna pick up on, as Gavin says, there's some baggage in Sinnoh that I didn't want to take care of. You see that Adalyn Voss kind of glances through a few files, makes note of something, and then scrolls to the next page. So, whatever Gavin was talking about, she found something corresponding and is now aware of what he was talking about. Just
Not like
that's
it.
a note to have.
It's not hard to find out. Like, it's not
Yeah.
not
Too
a
bad none of your
government
friends
level
have-
secret.
I was gonna say, but
asked
we
about
don't
it.
know.
Yeah, because none of your friends have asked about it.
You don't Google me.
Well, but
What's
why did
my
you
father's
choose?
name?
But why did you choose Kanto of all places?
I hear a lot of stories out of this region. I'm a bit of a bird fan personally. My starter, my companion, is a starly. Well, Stravia now. And I've always enjoyed stories about the legendary birds here in Kanto. I was hoping I'd be able to see one.
That is quite an interesting tale. Well then, next one. Seth Wake, you've told me that you want to learn something from my company, but why have you chosen to seek me out? It seems that you want this endorsement or sponsorship, but there are other companies. Even though you may have recently heard about my acquisition of Silphco, they would have been a good option, and they're much more established than I am. Why did you choose Vossco?
Well, I think it's because, as I mentioned before, I followed a lot of your recipes for the longest time, and seeing you reach the levels that you have, starting from what I've seen purely alone in the different recipe books and things of that nature, I was impressed and thought that if I could follow in similar footsteps to you, I could also achieve greatness, I think, in such a way that seemed like a reasonable...
Flattery will get you everywhere. But
I think it's more than just that. Proving to myself that I can do something I set my mind to that isn't under the gaze of my family's approval. I don't need their approval to do good things.
Now that's interesting. Well, thank you. Coryne Willows, why have you decided to come on your journey? I know from a few articles that I can see here, you've had a bit of a past regarding, well, let's be honest, the scourge that is on our country these days, the Blue Rockets. Why did you choose to come on a Pokemon journey rather than stay with, I believe, the Pallet Town Pokemon Center volunteer program?
Coryne, after hearing Dr. Voss call the Blue Rockets a scourge, relaxes ever so slightly. Like, you know how your shoulders are like kind of tense and then they like drop just like a millimeter?
You unclench your jaw.
Yeah. Relaxes just a little bit. You know, for what it's worth, it's an excellent program. But you're right. Rocket scum, and Coryne like makes direct eye contact just to gauge the like to convey the seriousness of
she
how
puts
she's
down her iPad
speaking.
while you're talking and is fully matching your gaze.
Needs to be cleaned out.
One fire extinguisher at a time.
And I would like to help in any way that I can. And if that means becoming the best and the most educated and learned, then I will do whatever I can.
You are aware that Pokemon trainers are not vigilantes.
Shoot, we about to be.
No, but Pokemon trainers have incredible experiences throughout the world, and they get to travel and learn from all over the place. So what better way to gather a wealth of information than by taking the journey, I thought.
Now, where do you see yourself going after you complete your journey? Are you going to try for Ace Trainer, Champion, Ranger, retire?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
It's basically that question, but more important.
This is to the whole table?
Yeah.
Or still with... Okay. I don't know. I think my dad would want me to try and take over the gym, but I don't know if I want to do that. But I also don't know if I want to take over the daycare either. So I think it's too early to answer that, because with the journey still not being completed, I don't know what the outcome of that would look like to then navigate the rest of that field.
And she turns over to look at Gavin.
Move on to the next region, become champion of that region as well.
And looks at Coryne.
Coryne smiles just a little bit and goes, "Are you gauging the worth of the investment right now?"
Smart girl.
There is not a better 3 in this region to invest in than us.
That's a bold statement. There are career trainers. There are other up-and-coming trainers. You're not the only people with 2 badges in less than 2 months.
No, but we did come to you first.
That is a
which
point in
means
your
we're
favor.
Ambitious.
And I do like ambition. Walk with me. And she gets up from
thought
her
we were
spot,
walking.
grabbing... She was said that walk and talk, but she decided to wait
we
for a
stayed
moment.
for 15
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
and talked.
This is,
stood
you
in
know,
this
how
corridor.
academic
She
talk
is
while I judge
Midwestern.
you.
She is a very Midwestern person.
Well, puts hands on both knees, gets up.
We should probably get out of here.
Alrighty.
But you guys good? You want some tea or anything? I got a couple in the outside fridge.
She stands up, grabbing her small tablet. And by the way, at this entire time, Delta 69420 has been standing off to the side by the elevator. As she walks up, he kind of steps to the side to let her through to the elevator, and waits for the three of you to follow her.
Thank you again for your service.
He kind of clears his throat. All three of you walk in behind her. He steps in, and she goes, level 42, side B. And it's a thing of like, side B, huh? But he goes over, and you can see that he clicks in the button, swiping his own pass, and once again it does the scan where it does like
Checks
the
everybody.
dunk, and you can see that all of your passes once again blink red. But as it starts to start up, you don't feel it go down. You can feel it almost sort of rotate and move to the side. It seems like this elevator may be more on an omnidirectional shaft than it is just
The
an
great
up and down.
glass elevator.
Willy
Oh my
Wonka.
god.
And it starts to, and you can feel it start to the momentum start to go to the side and the inertia, and then it stops, and then you can feel it start to go down.
Side B.
Yeah, side B, exactly.
Does that mean
can
the
I see a hand?
72nd floor had a side B?
Yes.
Ooh.
You can only see out the windows on one side of her office. There's a whole other top of the building.
Side B is for bad guy side.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Side B stands for baddie.
We share a building with the Blue Rockets.
Fuck you, dude. Okay, no, but what was did I catch Dr. Voss?
Yeah.
Badge scan color.
Gold.
Was there any gold?
Gold.
Okay.
She has an
Gold
executive level
lights.
pass.
Jeez.
They
Executive.
were making the passes,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Okay."
Other
we can
use
pick
of the
from
word
these three
executive.
colors, and she's like, "No, make it gold."
Make it gold.
I
Make
just-
it pretty,
but
make it
it's-
gold.
It was
Adalyn
from
Voss.
these. Okay, all right, gold
Yeah.
it is. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Adalyn Voss could totally be a neutral party, but I just want her to be a villain so bad.
Why do you want her to be bad?
I don't
She's
know.
offering to help you.
I know.
Maybe the villain thing was a misdirection. Who knows? But it starts to, and within seconds, comes to a stop. And the doors behind you open. And as it opens, it kind of opens into a semi-wide hallway that's about 10 feet in side. And there are actually two security guards already there that both are standing straight at attention. And as you guys step out of the elevator, 69420 Delta stays in the elevator, and the elevator closes and it goes away. And you're left with two new security guards who are there.
I wave as we leave.
Ooh, Gamma
What's
and
that?
Sage.
What's
Just
that?
blank,
Designations?
blank stares. Their designations are unnecessary and will not be spoken out. Because fuck you, I'm not coming up with one of these for every security guard you run into. I didn't want to do it for the first one. They're the faceless minions of the corporation, dude. You shouldn't want them to have identifiers.
I want to know everything.
Just
I
in
want
case
to
they go
know.
with the fire hydrant.
We need to know who to send their things to. If we.
Okay. So, Adalyn Voss starts to step ahead and she goes, "This way with me." And she starts to walk. Now, you had thrown out the idea of potentially learning things from my company, Seth Wake. And you,
Yes.
Gavin, had mentioned that you want to be champion and then move on to the next region, become champion of that. And then you, Coryne Willows, had mentioned you wanted to learn and become stronger. All three of those suggest a path of self-betterment. That is something my company strives for. And she keeps walking. Now, I believe if you're competing in the tournament, you will have heard about the Omni Stone.
Yes.
Now, I cannot take you to our... Well, I can. I will choose not to take you to our restricted laboratories with the Omni Stone. However, I assume that you might enjoy meeting some of the Pokemon that have gone through such an evolution.
Very much so.
Sure.
What's
yeah,
the
that would be-
immediate vibe from each of you that you throw out?
Gavin's paying full attention for the first time in this whole conversation.
Okay.
I think the nerves of meeting Adalyn Voss get shaken off by that, and
Mhm.
his brow kind of furrows for a second because he's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that they were doing this thing, and this is more important than even if I don't get the sponsorship. I need to figure out what's going on with this thing. So kind of like not a full attitude change from it, but
it
like,
jades you a little bit in that moment to like kind of the sparkle of what's going on.
Yeah, it takes away a bit of the gleam.
Okay, and then Coryne?
I'm just excited to see Pokemon, honestly. So
okay, so as some of you have trepidation and some of you are just fucking excited, Adalyn Voss is gonna walk down to the end of the hallway where there's these almost like bank vault-esque doors that are these giant like stainless steel with like gears and tumblers and shit doors. And she walks up and swipes her golden badge across the scanner, and it opens up.
This is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That bitch has got a gold ticket.
But
I'm here for it.
As the doors start to open, you immediately hear from inside, and then just boom, 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 like the sounds of battling happening inside of this chamber. And she looks back apologetically and she goes, "Sometimes our battle trials can get a bit loud." And as she gestures inward for you all to step in, you can see that on the 42nd floor of this building, you are stepping into a small stadium. It looks like there is a large training ground with a set of like maybe single file bleachers that go all around the training ground. The floors are some sort of like synthetic silicone paneling that seems like highly resistant to being damaged, as are the walls and ceiling. It's like almost like this white black what's the word, like chevroned pattern going across the ground. And you can see that there are two Pokemon currently doing battle. You can see that one of them is this maybe 8-foot tall spherical rock with a set of muscular arms and legs coming out of the side and almost like a reptilian head, as a golem is there in the middle of battle with a massive 30-foot long white and blue serpent that's about 8 to 10 feet in diameter at any given spot, as its ferocious lower jaw is open to show these porcelain white massive teeth, as this Gyarados is in the middle of a battle with a golem. In that moment, the Gyarados has picked up the golem with its tail, held it way above its head, and then boom, slams it into the ground. The golem itself seems unaffected, just kind of bounces out of the tail. The resiliency off of it is amazing, as it just kind of and immediately begins to rapid spin, building up a momentum and starting to like sonic wheel itself, and it across the floor, and it slams into the side of this Gyarados to the point where you can see the like hundreds of pounds of sea serpent just kind of off to the floor. Neither Pokemon seems like they're about to faint at all. It seems like they are in the middle of some sort of bout, and neither one is ready to give up yet. There are a series of researchers on either side of them that you can now see. Two of them seem to be in sort of the trainer positions on the battlefield, but neither are calling out any sort of move use, and the rest are sitting in the bleachers with recording equipment, with tablets and clipboards and laptops. They seem to be observing the battle in some way.
So I'll ask to Adeline. So I'm assuming both of these Pokemon were evolved from the Omni Stone, and you're battle testing them to see and compare based on standardly evolved Pokemon?
Actually, only one of them was evolved from the Omni Stone, and I was hoping that you could tell me which one was.
I feel like it would be a trick to put a Golem out there, but I would imagine this to be a Gyarados that originally was a Magikarp that you used the stone on, and the Golem is a red herring.
The other two of you, do you have any opinions?
Can I examine the Pokemon?
Absolutely you can. Can you go ahead and roll me what skill do you want to use to observe these Pokemon?
Poke handling?
Okay.
Or
go ahead and roll.
I basically, because Gyarados in universe, Gyarados
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay.
Gyarados evolve because the Magikarp is put under like incredible amounts of stress. I imagine that trigger being absent from its evolution might make a Gyarados with a different temperament to a standard Gyarados. That's what I'm trying to
Interesting. Okay, so you want to use an empathy check to double check the Gyarados then?
Yeah, I mean, my poke handling is technically higher, but...
Yeah, okay, go for it.
If it's empathy, it's a 17. If it's poke handling, it's 18.
Okay, and then, Coryne, what were you doing there?
Can I use my Pokelore stat?
To
Is
just
what I
kind
read
of
about?
get some sort of like baseline knowledge? I'd allow that. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I sprinkle on that my spec type of water just to because it's a Gyarados?
100%. Well, I mean, it's not a sprinkle on; it's a replacement stat.
No, I don't, it's not gonna work.
Okay.
I'm just saying if you want me to like tack it on there. I mean,
Yeah,
Gyarados is
soft
also a
10,
flying type, so...
7, with our powers combined.
It's again a replacement stat. So if you wanted to use it as a replacement, sure. Okay, Kenna, what'd you roll?
Oh, sorry, I rolled a 10.
Okay, with a 10, going back to the 9 that Seth gave me, what you just said logically makes sense, based off of the kind of cryptic questioning that she'd been giving, but with that, it's that thing of she's so impassive at this moment that you are unable to read her, and she's not giving you any answers based off of your guess, instead looking to the other two. It almost looks like the answer to the question is less important, and it's how you guys are choosing to tackle it. And you using a logic kind of like trap on this seems kind of important to her. Like she's like, she noticed that. But in terms of whether or not you're right, you're not sure. It is logically makes sense. It is logically sound that would be the case. Okay, with the 17, you note that the temperament of this Gyarados is different than a normal Gyarados. It is not lacking in rage. I'll give you that. It is still the angriest Pokemon you've probably ever seen. But you note that it's not using a lot of the savage attacks. That you're not seeing Thrash. You're not seeing a lot of those like fury-based attacks. And instead, you're seeing things like Bind, like Slam, like things that are physical without being angry. So you do note that. It gives you an idea of potentially you could be right, but again, there's nothing to confirm that you're right. The only person who maybe will be able to confirm is actually Adalyn Voss herself.
And did I notice anything about the Graveler?
Or the Golem? You specifically were asking me about the Gyarados in your line of questioning, so we'll get back to you if you want to learn more things about
It'd
the
be hilarious
Golem.
if she was like, I have no clue. I was just kind of seeing what you guys thought. I'm a CEO. I don't run this place.
With
Love.
Coryne, I'm going to give you the baseline knowledge of maybe one of the reasons that she's using this as the test is both Golem and Gyarados have an extremely hard evolution to hit. Basically, Gyarados, you need to instill Rage into a Magikarp, which is very hard to do. It takes either, if you want to be able to have this Pokemon after a Magikarp, you have to get it angry without getting it angry at you. Otherwise, it's going to be a Rage monster that tries to kill you after it evolves. But for Golem, you need to expose it to an amount of energy as a Graveler while it's in like a sensitive enough state to be able to transform. A lot of people do that via a trade machine. You're not sure as to which one this would be because both are extremely hard to evolve, so that baseline knowledge that you're getting is not quite enough to push you over the edge. However, if the three of you in any form decide to talk amongst yourself, I might be able to connect some of your guys' information together to give you guys a more sure idea.
If you'll excuse us, please, Miss Voss.
you guys
We
can
just
huddle.
confer for a
Huddling
minute.
is okay. If you want to do a huddle, that's fine.
We anime huddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Camera up,
Sure.
looking up at the three faces. Okay, what do you?
And I'm just like, guys, this is going good so far.
It's going great. You're doing good. With an anime huddle, between both Seth and Gavin's hunches, it would seem to be that the Gyarados is probably the one that has evolved via the Omni Stone. Even though it would take more work to evolve a Graveler on its own into a Golem.
Right? But like, I feel like they have enough money to buy rare candies to do all that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's not like trade machines are hard to come by.
Yeah, there's about one in every Poke Center. There's sometimes less than that, but yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have one here.
Exactly. Expensive corporation. Trade machine's probably not an issue.
It's a lot safer to evolve a Graveler into a Golem. The traditional way than it is to evolve a Magikarp into a Gyarados.
It's true. So the three of you kind of connect that, and you see, as you glance back at her, she's kind of still patiently and expectantly looking at all of you for an answer.
It's Gyarados.
Sorry, we got distracted with the tiles on the floor. It was a really nice
Nice
establishment.
pattern.
But our consensus as a group is that the Gyarados is the Pokemon that was... I'm not going to... I'm trying to think of a good word to use, because I, Seth, don't want to say that you forced to evolve, because that's aggressive language.
You want me to say it?
That
I'll
you
say it.
enabled.
That the stone...
Gavin will say it. Gavin will say it, no problem. There are consequences to saying forced to evolve.
Yeah, but I'll just say, I think it was the Gyarados that was evolved with the stone.
Yeah. So you guys turn. Gavin immediately going, it's Gyarados, but Seth in a much more eloquent way going, I think it's, this Gyarados. She's still clicking her nails together just a little bit. And she goes, I would assume so as well, though I'm unsure as to which one it is.
Damn!
You son of a gun.
I don't work here, I just own the place.
I knew that
Yeah,
these
I
trials
just
were
pay the
happening
bills.
today, but I was unsure as to which one it would be. If you want, we
Ooh,
can go to my research
care
team
to-
now, and
Would you like to put a wager on it? I know you don't really have much to
We all agree.
gain from us in terms of a wager, but in case we're
wager.
wrong.
I think I would bet on the same side as you, so I will avoid a wager for now, but it's not a bad idea.
So which of your
I'll keep that in
researchers
mind.
is the most gullible?
The most gullible, well, he works on floor 39. You wouldn't,
Oh.
he wouldn't be part of these trials.
Bummer.
But, let us go find out if we are correct. And you see that she starts to kind of walk down, her heels kind of like click, 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 clicking on the silicon floor. The three of you following after her. She kind of walks up to one of the researchers and leans in and starts to have a conversation. And after a moment, the researcher turns and looks at you guys and just goes, and gives you a big ass thumbs up.
Nice.
Cool.
The battle, by the way, has been still going on this entire time. You see that at this point, the Gyarados opens its mouth as wide as possible. You guys could probably stand, like, with no issue inside the Gyarados' mouth. It turns and its fangs start to alight in dark type energy, and it just swallows the golem whole and then poof, spits it back out.
Jesus Christ, we live in this world. Oh my god.
You were in the ocean.
Terrifying
You were
Pokemon
in
are.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Spinning around.
know.
You were
I
you
know,
were on the same
I
route
know.
where there's
In
a
a
Harry
Gyarados
Potter
storm.
Gyarados.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And both of these Pokemon, for the most part, still looking like they're gonna keep going for a long time after this. Yes,
Man, you only
Seth,
got-
I saw you
You got three
prepared a
major
question.
wounds, land some hits.
Can, from where we're standing, can I see any of the researchers, like their clipboards or things of that nature? Anything to know, like what they're tracking specifically, or what they're trying to analyze?
That's interesting. I don't think you're close enough to see their exact like data sheets or anything, but I think you could make a guess based off of the technology that they're using. So
I'll say this
Mhm.
with whatever you might be thinking of there, but like if the fight's going, we've been kind of standing there for a minute.
Yeah.
Say, I know they're watching the Gyarados is the important thing that they're watching specifically, and if they watch the Gyarados do a particular move, do they then look down and start writing stuff? Like those are the cues. I'm looking for.
interesting. You're using people reading for this instead of trying to use the intelligence of like their actual notes or
Yeah.
machinery. Okay. Okay.
I'm not gonna know how
Okay.
to- you expect me to know how the iPad works?
You can roll me, then this would be an empathy check. Go ahead and roll me a charm-based empathy check. Sorry, an intelligence-based empathy check, not a charm. This is you're reading these
I'll
people.
add both of them together if you want me to.
No, that's fine.
Since-
That's fine.
Would
Since-
oh, you can go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, since Seth is using kind of like an empathy, and I'm good at technology, can I support his role with a tech check of my own?
I would absolutely allow that if you would like to roll a technology check and the two of you add them together.
Noise.
100% I would allow that.
Can I use the Poke lore education? No, that's education.
Yeah.
Just to see if that.
However, this is a water type, so you can.
I'll add that to it.
Yeah.
So
As
that'll be-
Burrty mentioned, this is a water flying type. This is Seth, Coryne, and Gavin's all spheres of interest because you guys all have points in types on this Gyarados.
We need to
I got
get
9.
a team Gyarados that we share.
10 and 9.
that can honestly be our water ride.
A 19 together. It seems like, honestly, they're not making notes when the Gyarados uses specific types of attacks, nor are they making notes when it's getting hurt. It seems like at regular time intervals, they're making some sort of note. This might be a stamina test of some kind.
I see.
Kind of like how you see when, like, in medical trials or when there's people training for, like, the Olympics, if they have people on specific types of drugs, they want to make sure that their body can handle all of the shit that they're going through. And as you look closer, you can see that even though they're very fucked up at this point in time in the trial, there are tiny diodes attached to points on the Gyarados that seem to be reporting some kind of information.
Give me Mewtwo vibes. I don't like it.
I don't like that.
Nah, you guys were already on Cinnabar. We skipped it already.
Yeah. Could we have seen the Mewtwo, like, room?
Was it in there?
We're going back, guys.
Was it in there and we missed
Nope,
it?
it was not in there because canonically Mewtwo blew up the facility it was in.
Oh, yeah.
Did we find a piece of the chair that was in the room?
No. What were you saying, Gavin?
How do you select the Pokemon for the trials?
I don't. I am considered a little too biased by my research team as to what Pokemon I would prefer be in the trials.
Institutionally.
Well, we have a set of parameters that we use, but for the most part, we focused our Omnistone research on Pokemon that are difficult to evolve. And that was a very wide parameter for a reason. We wanted the Omnistone to be omnipotent, to be able to evolve any Pokemon.
I mean, no, I don't mean you go into the wild and catch Pokemon for the sole purpose of using them for clinical trials.
No, we have our own breeding house. We have several breeding houses.
So these Pokemon are purpose-bred for clinical trials?
Yes.
And there's no qualms about that, about the Pokemon's free will surrounding that?
We stay within all league guidelines regarding Pokemon in clinical trials. They're retired after 2 years or after 15 trials. We have a facility out in Johto where we send them to once they're done with their trials, but for the most part, our trials have been an overwhelming success, so we've had no issue.
What if a Pokemon doesn't want to be involved in a trial?
It's never come up. Pokemon, by their nature, want to be stronger. They want to adapt, they want to learn. It's never come up that a Pokemon didn't want to better itself.
But perhaps didn't want to be poked and prodded.
Not that I've seen as an issue. Not in my many years of research, but should something come up, we'll make sure to let the league know.
Gavin's kind of watching the battle going on. Like, he doesn't really respond to that. He just draws his attention back to the Pokemon.
Okay.
With a kind of a faraway look in his eye.
Yeah. Okay. Seth, you were saying something?
Yeah, what was the lawsuit specifically? I can't remember.
So
My dad had
it was
brought up.
actually less a lawsuit, and it's more your dad is trying to subpoena the Vosco for all of their research materials around the Omnistone on the basis that it's potentially unethical.
Gotcha.
So he just wants to know more about it, and they're not letting him know more about it.
Sure.
That seems like a tough case to win.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. But as the battle continues, Adalyn Voss notices kind of like the like distraction or faraway look that you guys are starting to get as it's going. Specifically, like Gavin and then Seth, kind of like thinking back to the lawsuit with the Omnistone and everything. And she goes, "There's more to see. If you'd like to go see more of my company." Okay, I see a hand from Coryne.
Coryne responds to that and goes, "Would love it." But going as we're walking, if we're leaving this room,
Okay.
Coryne is gonna kind of bounce Dr. Voss about the facility in Johto that she mentioned.
Oh, yes. Well, unfortunately, due to our security issues, I can't tell you too much about it, but what do you want to know?
I mean, I was just wondering what happens to the Pokemon once they retire from the trials. Do they get, like, adopted, set free? Do you have a...
Unfortunately, we can neither set them free, because once they've been altered, the League has strict guidelines about letting them back into the wild to not potentially breed with other populations.
Mhm.
And we also choose to not allow them to be adopted because a lot of our trials are very strenuous, and we would prefer the Pokemon get as much rest afterwards as possible, as you've seen. And you look back to Golem spinning into the air and just fucking body slamming into Gyarados' head, and it poof into the ground. They get enough battling for the most part across our trials in the few years that they spend here. So we send them there. They are sent to, what's the old adage? The lie that we made reality. We send them to the Butterfly Farm upstate. It's not a metaphor, that's the actual case. We send them to live better lives in a facility where they can. And we have league inspectors come through every few months to make sure everything is up to code.
So like
And
a
they're happy.
retirement facility.
Essentially a retirement facility, yes. And as far as happiness, I am... Well, you can't force someone to be happy, but you can give them all the tools to be so, and I assume that they are. I have not visited the facility in several years. It's all the way in Johto, and I'm far too busy here, but I would assume it is.
Coryne like nods, like I understand. Doesn't say anything. In my head, real quick.
Yeah.
Because Kenna's really bad at math. Let's math for a minute. So if you're required to retire Pokemon after 15 trials, or how long? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
And they've been running for how long? Can I
15-ish
guesstimate?
years?
Can I guesstimate how many Pokemon they've most likely retired?
You
I'm
don't know
talking
what the
real
sample
rough.
size is, but like you did work in a lab company this size with the minimum requirements. Assuming they're doing 2 trials a year, it's probably 20 to 50 Pokemon a year, placing them every 2 years. So that's 7 or 8 cycles of that. So that's anywhere between 140 to, 800 Pokemon, give
that
or take.
Facility better be fucking huge.
Yeah, and you got to remember, not all of them are going to be Gyarados or Golem size. It seems like
Some
kind
them
of
are
planned
itty-bitty.
where you guys were going. Yeah, they might be doing stuff on like Rattata,
They have
They're
a
this
whole
big.
evolution.
an entire evolution wing. Yeah, 100%. I mean, she hasn't mentioned it, but logic seems to dictate that if you were going to make a stone based around evolving anything, you would at least look at the Eevee line.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Why aren't you a dragon? What's wrong?"
Why are you not a ghost type or a fighting type? Why are you just
Honestly,
a grass
if they can,
type?
if they can force, if they can make one of those things exist, I still think it is not the right move.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to exist. There's too
Doesn't
many
need to exist.
evolutions already. Take a couple back. Take Glaceon back. We don't need it.
There's a really interesting point. I think Gavin probably asked that in game.
Okay.
Have you
That's
used
correct.
these on an Eevee?
That was one of our first trials, yes. Again, I can't go too far into what the results were because all of that is strictly confidential with my company, but Eevee was definitely the starting point. Eevee, Ditto, Pokemon that have a myriad of transforming abilities, multiform Pokemon like Lycanroc, divergent evolutions like Poliwrath and Politoed. They were our starting point, yes.
And does the Omni Stone just yield random results, or?
We assumed random for the first few years, but after one of our young and up-and-coming scientists spent some time with our Eevee, actually in our retirement facility, with all of our evolutions, they discovered that it's the Eevee that makes the choice when they evolve with the Omni Stone. It can unlock any potential that the Eevee chooses.
Interesting.
So the Eevee don't want to be dragons, got it.
Yeah, they don't want to be dragons, they don't want to be fighting types, they don't want to be ghost types.
I'd like to think one Eevee turns into like a Jolteon, and then like a Sylveon gets made right after. It's like I could have been that.
I could have
That
been
exists?
trans? What? Dude, the little trans flag evolution. I love Sylveon. Sylveon's great.
So with some of like the earlier, I guess, additions of the Omni Stone, because obviously this isn't the first one that worked in some way, because you probably have previous versions that aren't as like effective. Does that kind of just look like a rock taped to a fire
The
stone or something?
issue with the Omni Stone was never its effectiveness. It was synthesizing it to begin with.
Synthesizing how?
That's confidential.
Oh.
All right, that means it was a good follow-up.
Did you say that part out loud?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'll say that out loud.
She gives you a nod. Like, yeah, absolutely it was.
Okay. I'll apologize in advance if I ask more questions that are similar to that. It's just the
I would be honestly
that...
disappointed if you didn't.
Got it. Okay, but yeah, we were walking.
We are walking, and I believe we're going to find our way to the 22nd floor. And she starts to walk you to the elevator, and it moves you guys back to side A and brings you back down. Now, if you are interested in our sponsorship program, perhaps I should show you where our sponsored trainers live for the off-season.
Before we move on...
As you're in the elevator? Yep.
Yeah. What effects are you measuring on the affected Pokemon?
In what regard?
You're stress testing their stamina. What are the things
we stress test everything. There are a few categories that competitive trainers such as yourself use in a more technical sense: attack, defense, speed. We generally are checking to see that the Pokemon are maintaining or exceeding their expected amount of growth and power.
Like the evolution rates.
Yes?
Question: if we haven't made it to the elevator yet.
No, you're still in the elevator.
Okay, well, like the spot we were at when we were like leaving the battle facility section specifically, were there any other Pokemon that?
At the moment, those were the two that were out and fighting. Given that Pokemon can be instantaneously stored in Pokeballs, you assume there were probably more on standby, but those were the two that were being observed at the moment, so those are the two that were out.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, while we're in the elevator, and heading towards the what facility you said? It was like the non...
She was saying where her sponsored trainers stay in the off-season.
Off-season, that's the word I couldn't think of. While we're going there, I'm going to speak in the elevator and kind of look at is it Delta that's still manning the elevator?
No, now you guys have like Omega 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is like what's going on?
Omega and Alpha. I think I'm going to ask Miss Voss, is there any chance we're able to... I'm sorry, Dr. Voss. Is there any chance that we could meet a Pokemon that's not battling specifically before we leave too? Just obviously, it's kind of hard to like meet a Gyarados that's mid-raging actively.
I could arrange something. I took you to a trial that was in progress, but I could arrange something. May I ask what you're looking for?
Oh, I just wanted to meet a Pokemon and look at it and actually kind of talk to it if I could.
Well, I could arrange something.
There are Pokemon who need to have a certain level of trust with their trainer before they're able to evolve. Do you have any of those?
We find that as they've been named by the greater populace, the friendship evolutions, it's mostly a mental block that they decide when to evolve when they feel comfortable via their friendship. When presented with an Omnistone, they do evolve on their own, and they seem no worse off for it. So we've not seen any sort of negative side effects from that, but we do have a few. I believe there are a few Crobat up in one of our labs.
We only have one Pokemon each with us, right?
Yep. You were allowed to keep one Pokemon
if we dropped
on you.
All of them or just the one? Okay.
Everything but one. And I believe you all basically just kept your starters, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah, we can continue, but yeah, I would appreciate if we could meet one of them. I think that would be fun. Yeah, we'll check out the off-season location.
Yes, well, Coryne. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, and she pulls out her tablet and starts to like type and move and swipe. I will go organize something because I think that is a good measure of a trainer. But while I do that, I think I'm going to arrange for someone else to take you through our facilities. Does that seem like a plan for you?
Yeah, that seems totally fine. I'd appreciate it.
Now, are you wanting to... There's a few options. In terms of what Pokemon you may choose to meet. There's a few different Pokemon that are not currently scheduled for any trials today. I think I can arrange something for each of you. Would you be interested in battling one of these Pokemon?
If you want us to battle, battling's not everything to me, so I don't have a need for that specifically. But I mean, if Gavin, Coryne, do you guys want to battle?
Sure.
All right, then. You are muted once again, Kenna, or you're too far away from your microphone.
I will thankfully refrain.
Okay, you had a hand up earlier too. Is that?
Oh, did you? I didn't see it.
Just when as Dr. Voss is walking out the elevator.
Okay, so we'll get to that in just a second then. So as she's still doing anything, I will arrange a battle for you then, and we can arrange that for this evening. I apologize. Do you have any other plans for today?
No, this was kind of gauging how the day went for the most part.
When's my meeting with Aria?
It was supposed to be this afternoon.
I do have a thing I need to get to this afternoon.
Then I can move it up then. How about after you finish going through the facilities, we'll get your battle sorted, and maybe that'll give me a bit more of a measure of you as trainers. And she swipes and sends a couple confirmation messages, and the doors open, and she gestures for all of you to step through, where there is already like a younger research aide. He's like maybe in his 20s, but he's already starting to kind of bald and hair thin just a little bit, with like thick black glasses going on. This is Researcher Taub. He'll bring you through the facilities, and I'll meet up with you later. TAUB.
Thank you.
I saw you typing.
Dr. Voss, before you go,
Yes.
what bias did you mention earlier?
Well, I happen to have a preference for Dragon-type Pokemon, and I wanted to spend too much of our research budget purchasing Dragon Pokemon for our breeding camps, and they told me I was not allowed, so Gyarados was the closest I was allowed.
Nice.
Got it.
I have a Gibble.
You have a Gibble. Now that
Everything's
is something I'd be
pretty
interested to see.
They only let me take one Pokemon here.
I could arrange for them to be brought up when we have the battle later, if you'd like.
Do that. Yeah, I miss him already. It's been.
She smiles a bit, obviously already fond of the idea of this Gibble.
Oh my god.
You don't even know, Dr.
Oh,
Voss.
man,
you about to fall in love.
I know she said she's no nonsense, but Gibble is nothing but nonsense.
Is only nonsense.
Is only nonsense.
But as she kind of looks at you, goes, I will see all of you later. Yes, Gavin, I see a hand.
Just because the dragon thing props his brain.
Flex your dragon.
Yeah.
Flex your dragon.
Dragon. Fight the dragon.
Does Adalyn Voss have a Kanto accent?
Yes.
Okay. So I get the impression they are native.
You do get the impression that Adalyn Voss is from Kanto.
Her cousin is Cynthia, though. By the way.
Yeah, just 100%, yeah.
Dragon types. Have you got anything interesting? Anything from maybe out of region?
Oh, yes, I do. And you see like a big smile on this lady's face, like as she's thinking about it, the doors close.
I don't know if I like that smile. That was okay. Well,
she seems to be a big fan of dragon types.
Oh, I wish the doors hadn't closed. All Gavin's thinking about
press
is
the
the
door, press the
Noivern that ganked his fucking bird earlier.
That's true. That is a dragon type Pokemon. That's very true.
let's see. We can follow those up when we meet her again.
You absolutely can follow up with that. But as you turn,
Taub.
you see Taub's there and he goes, hi. Nice to meet you guys.
Good. Are you good?
No, sorry. I spent all morning. I spent all morning with the mill tank, and their fur is rough on me.
Oh, allergies?
Yeah, big allergies. I have to take like 4 of these a day, and you see he takes like the tiny like pink allergy pills and just starts dry chewing them.
Jesus.
Can I try to see with the little bit of like food ration, poke ration things that I have, see if I can make a cooking check to whip up some type of like.
Did you bring your rations with you when you left your backpack behind?
Yeah, I took food stuff because
Oh,
I was
yeah,
showing
yeah,
her all the
yeah,
different
yeah,
things I
'cause you
used.
get-
So I'm
What
gonna
about pack
try and
lunch?
figure out if I can make something with any of like the because I have like the fire dragon food, the normal food flying in the water,
Mhm.
some type of just combination slop that would knock out, like, like a sinus clearing, like it knocks
Oh,
everything
like something
out,
like spicy. So if like he smelled it, maybe it would fuck with this thing.
something like that, or like you eat it.
You
and
got
it's
fire
just
type
like
food on you?
Yeah.
Dude, you could do it with just that. You could do
Here,
it with just that.
Eat one of these Cheetos.
That's fire type food.
Trust me. I promise.
Immediately you can see just like as soon as he
Flaming hot
smelt it,
Cheetos.
just a torrent of just snot.
Oh
starts
God!
to- and he's like, oh, excuse me, and he just like starts taking like a Kleenex packet and just like blows his nose, and you can see for the first time one of the security guards behind you. You can hear a fucking chuckle immediately. You
Yeah, fire it.
Whips
Fire
around
it.
and
I
just
got
like
one, I got
stares
one.
him in the face.
You whip around. It's that point where everybody turns. Even the other security guard turns and looks, and he just
It was funny. I don't know what you want me to say.
yeah, it just looks a little bit abashed.
Fire.
But Taub goes, ugh,
Just
Oh.
you don't even have to eat it. Just hold it in your
Oh.
pockets, and that'll.
oh, I can't
Yeah.
believe I didn't think of spicy. Oh,
Yeah, not many people do. They kind of just think, ah, man, I can't breathe. That sucks, and
Yeah.
they don't
I'll have to
think
start
of like.
carrying around some salt or like mayonnaise or something really
Here,
spicy.
here, take
Or, like, get
these.
some
I'll
saline
give 'em just
solution
a
and
couple
just-
of
Get
little food.
Get out. Leave.
Saline solution
I would
in
like
a
to
teapot.
exit the elevator.
You've already exited the elevator. Adalyn Voss left at the elevator.
Fuck.
That's the only elevator in the building. That's
Um,
definitely not a fire hazard.
some saline spray or whatever. No, there's like 5 of them, but they all like rotate between all the different floors.
That's
I
a
think
safety
how
hazard
long it would take
itself.
to get anywhere if there was one lift.
If there was one of those, and it always prioritizes the boss, so if she goes anywhere, everybody else is fucked.
The whole building is at a
Um,
standstill. Sorry, guys. Adalyn's going to lunch.
Kenna, by the way, I forgot to ask her. Can you roll me D10?
Why?
I'm just needed a D10.
Just a plain old roll.
Yeah, just let me know if it's less than a 5.
It is not. It is actually a 6.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, good to know.
What did you want it to be? Make it a 6 or make it a 5.
It's
Good.
4.
No, it's fine. I was just
3, 2, and
checking
1.
a
It's
thing.
all
One.
at the same time.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's
You're
actually -2.
fine. I don't know why you're freaking out. But Taub goes,
I'm not freaking out. You're freaking out.
thank you, guy. I appreciate that. Anyway,
You guy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Seth, by the way,
I got messaged by Miss Voss that I was supposed to be showing you guys the sponsorship lounge.
yes.
Okay. Well,
What floor
Yeah.
do you usually work on?
39.
Are you that guy? Are you that guy?
They never invite you to anything.
I'm so glad you asked.
Incredible.
But he goes, okay, well, come on this way. And you see he's, by the way, he was like standing on like a step, like it was a change in elevation from like the elevator. You step up to the hallway. Now that he's on your level, dude's like 4'11". He's walking with his little
Gavin, you're
clipboard.
taller than somebody. Let's
And you
go.
look
Sir
over and you can
King!
see that his leather shoes are definitely like have lifts in them.
Nice.
But he's moving pretty quick for a little dude. And he starts walking down the way. He eventually like turns and makes it to like a set of like double doors that have like the little like rectangle like plexiglass window in the middle of them. And he kind of opens it up. Come on in here.
Okie doke.
As you step into the room that Taub has kind of like opened the doors to, you're immediately in like every college dormitory rec room that you've ever seen, where there's like the one couch with like the big TV on the wall. There's like a tiny kitchenette in the corner. There's like a foosball table and a pool table.
And it smells like
Wow, Nintendo
crayons for
Switch.
some reason.
It smells a little bit like crayons. There's like beanbag chairs in the corner.
Little Snorlax chairs.
There's one that looks like a Spheal, one that looks like a Snorlax, one that looks like a tiny little Munchlax pillow, one that looks like an Altaria. They're very cute. Yes, Burrty, I see a hand.
I spent the early years of my childhood in like green rooms for pro trainer events.
Yes.
Does this look the same as that, or much shittier than that?
It doesn't look shittier. It looks more like it's a similar vibe, but it's definitely like aimed at a slightly younger audience than the professional trainer circuit, which is generally like mid-20s and above. This is much more for like your rookie trainer style, like entertainment.
Okay.
There is like a small like video game console plugged into the wall, into the TV. Like there is budget that went into this, but it's definitely like this is what I would expect of like a college dormitory rec room.
Is it a Nintendo Switch or is it
it's an unnamed video game source that I'm not gonna go into.
Is the box
Even
purple?
Yeah.
Taub, how long have you been working at Bosco?
Maybe 6 years next fall.
Wow. Did you start as like a trainer and then?
Oh
get, like, an
no,
internship?
I'm not I don't even have a Pokemon. I'm not a trainer.
What?
No. I
If you
can't.
would have a Pokemon, what would you have? You look like you could be a trainer.
Coryne like side eyes you a little bit.
I mean, I've always liked Porygon, especially because they're, they don't set off allergies. They're
That's
just made
true.
of.
Are you allergic to
computer
most
code.
Pokemon?
Anything with fur, or feathers,
Okay.
or scales.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Have you tried like an Onyx?
I got like an eczema
dust.
thing to where
Dust.
Yeah.
dirt and dust really sets it off.
What about like a Magnemite? Or
A
Voltorb?
steel type could be good. It would interfere with my sleep apnea machine at night, so I
Bro,
couldn't keep
go
it out, but I
upstairs
could
and use
do
your
that.
Omni Stone.
Do you have a
Made
problem
us
with static?
do it.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, it would be okay. But anyway, this is the rec room. In terms of like everything through that hallway there, is the quarters. Though I think we only have like a few that aren't occupied at the moment. People leave their stuff in over the course of the season if they ever stop in.
Are there any
because-
trainers currently here?
He
This
pulls
is the
out his own
on-season,
tablet and starts to like
so-
flick through. Yeah, we have two of our. I don't know if they're logged into the building right now, but we have two people currently logged as staying with us at the moment. Two of our trainers. Yeah, but I'm not sure what Ms. Voss wanted you guys to see through everything. But here's the rec
She
room.
just said to show us the cool stuff.
Oh, you want to see the cool stuff? We have
I
cool
mean,
stuff.
that is what she said.
You guys want
How
to see
cool.
the training and endurance center?
Sure.
Yeah.
How much-
Sure.
Okay.
How
All
much?
right,
what?
let's go this way. Come on. And he starts like walking off, and it's again his little like leather shoes like going on the floor, because it's like that like off linoleum tile sort of material, where it's like
Mhm.
easy cleanup material kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he kind of like starts walking, and he goes down like a hallway off the side of the rec center, and goes down like a set of steps, and you hear a noise in the distance as he pops open, and immediately you're hit with the smell of like chlorine and indoor pool. As you can see that there is this like, it looks like a Gym Bros idea of a water park in this room. As you walk
God.
in, there is like a lap pool, but then there's also like a like river sort of like set up around the edges of the building where the water is all flowing one direction, and there's like a get in that's very obvious you're supposed to go against the flow of the river to like do like swim training.
It's the opposite of a lazy river.
It's the opposite of a lazy river.
An
It's the
active
most
river.
river. It is maximum effort river. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any Pokemon on you, but they always get a kick out of all the facilities we have here. And there's a slide, and he points at like a little orange slide that goes like down into the most river.
He's
Are
so
we allowed
excited about
to
this
let our Pokemon out?
I mean, Miss Voss didn't say that you weren't. And generally, if she doesn't say that we're not allowed to
As
do
he's
something,
in the middle of that sentence,
Yeah.
Bowie's already
Boo-
out.
Bowie-
I'm gonna say,
Da-da-da.
Bowie, slide.
He jumps. He clears about 2 feet above the slide, and then lands in the water. And instead of going against the water, he starts to lap in the pool.
You're supposed to go the opposite direction. As he goes
Yeah,
down the
and
slide.
then for all of the land-based Pokemon, we've got the running tracks over there, and you can see that like one of the walls is one of those ones that's got like the giant window like in the mid through, so you can see on the other side. It looks like there's like a massive gymnasium where the floor itself like moves almost like I don't exercise. What's the thing that you go on at the gym where you
Like a
walk?
springboard?
Treadmill?
Like
Treadmill.
spring-
That's the word.
Oh.
I go outside when I want to run. I don't remember what a treadmill is called. But the entire floor for that room looks like a giant treadmill. And in that room, still, you can see that there are 2 massive fans, like the size of cars on either side of the room to create a wind tunnel.
I love those fans.
I'm gonna let Ava out.
Yeah, you let Ava out. And she goes, Ava! And looks at Taub and is like, who are you? Because remember, Ava got attacked yesterday. Ava's like kind of on edge.
We're all good. Go play.
Doing the bird equivalent of a growl, looking at
Bird
Taub,
growl?
and he kind of like, feathers.
Here.
Just again pours just all of the snot. Has to take care of that. But you tell Ava to go play, and Ava kind of like flitters through the door. The door closes behind her, and she goes, Ravia! And turns and looks at the door where it's now closed, and the wind tunnel activates automatically. And you can see like 30-mile-an-hour winds just start moving through that room. Immediately Ava starts to like fly against the wind, and it takes a second of like a few seconds of panic, but immediately Ava starts to like get into it, and you hear like Ravia! And like having the fun of like flapping against the wind. Both these Pokemon definitely having a good time with the facilities.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring Myrtle out so Bowie can swim with someone and not just go the opposite direction? She might be able to help him focus on the task at hand.
I think you think too much of her for that.
Maybe. I don't know.
pull out the Pokeball and I let her out.
Yeah, and Myrtle immediately Squirtle.
Show him to the slides.
Squirtle. And so immediately starts to waddle towards the slide without even checking in with you at all.
I'm just okay. Have a good time.
And you say Squirtle, and then just like,
Before you
and
get
like
out,
climbs
remember,
up the little
you can
ladder
swim
and
the
just
opposite direction. So if you want to do that, you can. You don't have to. I
Bowie
guess.
pops up.
She's
Ta-da-da.
halfway down the slide already.
Instead of like sliding down the slide, Myrtle like withdraws in the shell and it down the
Yes!
slide,
Like
and
a
into the
green
water.
shell from Mario Kart.
Exactly. And it immediately starts foom, foom, foom.
How high are the ceilings?
Ceilings are probably 15, 20 feet. They're pretty high ceilings.
I'm gonna stick my arm in the pool, which I imagine is kind of tough because the water's flowing so fast.
Yeah, it's flowing very fast. The first thing you notice is it's a heated pool. So immediately you can feel it's like nice and warm to the touch.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Corinne's really resisting jumping in right now.
that's gonna hurt.
I catch Myrtle by her shell
Boonk.
and I pick her up and I say, "You want a cannonball?"
Squirt.
And I take her and I like alley-oop her, and so she just like boom in the pool.
You knock out a ceiling tile.
You vroom, and you were not you were not anticipating wet Squirtle shell when you did this, and
A little heavy.
she goes and she doomf off the back wall and then bounces into the river.
No!
She seems to not have been affected by it, but it definitely didn't go the way that you were expecting. As you
Not like
did.
that, Bowie.
Yeah. Bowie's like da-da-da, and just starts looping again. As you guys are there, Taub is like, "Oh, you guys have like really unique Pokemon, like Kanto starter, Johto starter, and then I don't even know where that's from."
Dunno.
Oh, you from Sinnoh?
Yep.
All right.
Say it like that.
Anyway,
Where you from?
Hey, I'm from Unova, but you don't see me touting
Unova.
it about.
Oh.
I barely know.
See? Doesn't feel good, does it?
That was very rude of you.
I'm sensing a lot of aggression currently. Let's start again.
But you know
I
what would
think.
be dope?
What would be dope, Corinne?
Kenna, what was the actual number? Do you remember when I asked you to roll a d10? Do you remember what the actual number was?
I think it was a 6.
Okay.
6
I'm
sounds right.
scared.
Okay. No, keep going.
It would be so. This is really cool. Jesus!
You hear off in the distance, echoing through the building as you feel the entire building tremor
Whoa,
just a little bit.
What was that? I'm gonna reach in the water and grab Bowie. and pull
Yeah,
him
I'm
out.
recalling Ava.
As you hear that, you see Taub and immediately go for his tablet. And says, "Oh, okay, no, it's not an emergency. It's not an emergency. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's not an
Okay,
emergency."
can you use more words to explain
Yeah,
why
what
it's
is
not
it?
an
Yeah.
emergency?
No. However, I do have to leave you guys here. Sorry, it is an emergency, but not for you. It's not like a medical or like it. There was a mishap in one of the labs. Anyway, I gotta go.
Okay,
You guys just stay here. You're
clearance?
escort only, so you won't be able to leave here. So just feel free to use the lounge area. I'll be
Can we
back.
get out of
I
the
gotta
building?
go. No, sorry, it's on lockdown right now. Anyway, I gotta take there. Bye.
Where's the bathroom?
And, I mean, it's boom, the doors close, and he does not answer your question as he starts. You see his little form retreating through the hallway.
Whole room
Um,
is a bathroom.
As you guys are asking those questions, you feel the building once again just tremor just a little bit.
Myrtle,
Could
come
I
here.
hate this.
see
Yeah.
what was on his tablet?
I will allow a retroactive spot hidden check. I will allow that. Retroactive spot hidden.
Spot hidden.
This is interesting.
4.
4.
Wait, yeah, 4.
You did not get a clear view as to what was on his tablet. However, you did spot some sort of schematic on it, outlining that wherever the emergency was, it was on an upper floor than where you are now.
Interesting.
You didn't get a whole lot of detail. You didn't see a whole lot, but you saw the bare minimum. And it's kind of like every like 5 to 10 seconds. It's not a regular interval. It's a little bit off. You feel a in the building itself.
I think the wash machine's unbalanced.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. I can literally hear my washing machine downstairs at this exact moment going as we're recording this.
Fix that.
No, somebody else is doing the laundry. I say hand, Burrty.
When we came to this, I haven't been keeping track of the floors. Was the Omnistone testing upstairs?
Yes.
Or downstairs from us?
It was in the 40s. You're in the 20s right now.
We're on floor
Interesting.
22. There is no floor 13. Coryne kind of looks at Seth and Gavin and is like, you don't think like Pokemon freaked out during evolution and like
That's a tough call. I don't know. But they said they have everything under control. I'm gonna trust that they do. And maybe we can see out the window if anything can be seen from like outside, or
Is there a
are
balcony?
there
Anyone
any
might know.
windows?
I think from where we were at, it's like a glass building. I imagine there were windows.
Is there a balcony?
In your current area, you are
I
in
mean,
the
like, back out in the
center of
hallway.
you from the elevator onward, you have been in the center of the building. You have not seen windows leading out.
Okay.
And there are currently no windows that you've seen in the quarters that you're in, because you're currently still in the exercise rooms, both of which are like lopped off big rooms without any sort of like exterior access.
Gotcha.
But
Can I go find a window?
I will allow you to start looking for windows on the next episode of Unbeatable, a Kanto journey, because we are at time, and that's where we're going to end it as you guys start to plan.
One.
All right,
I think
that's where we're going to go ahead and end it. Maybe you should look. Yeah,
Corinne
there's
be
a lot
like,
of things that
I'm
you
the
could do.
juggernaut, bitch.
What the fuck are you doing, Matt? What is that?
It's me. I should
Saying goodbye.
Oh, okay, goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for watching this episode of Unbeatable. If you'd like to support us, please subscribe. You can also head over to our Patreon, where you get access to bonus content, early episodes, and a rules breakdown to learn how the game works. Thank you for sticking around, and stay unbeatable.
I am unbeatable, I'll train until I meet my goal. If stakes are high, no, I won't fold, because I am unbeatable. Earning every badge, whatever it takes, I'm gonna be the best trainer, you just wait. And I know the road ahead looks like it won't be easy. I am unbeatable. Standing by my side, got my friends with me to explore a whole world of possibilities. But no matter what the challenge is, we can overcome it together. Because we are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold, because we are unbeatable. We unbeatable. We'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold because we are unbeatable.